Hi everybody, welcome to Knitting My Shit Together, episode 4. I titled it, it's gonna say, Knitting My Shit Together, episode 4, extra baggage. But I thought an alternate title could be, welcome to procrastination. No, I'll really have it be the first one. So yeah. Together, episode 4. My name is Farah, and you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as @FarahKnits. And a thing will come up here, and that will teach you how to spell it so you don't misspell it. I'm home from Denver. I'm back in Minneapolis, and I'm recording during a brief pause in paper writing. I have no notes, show notes. I'm just flying by the seat of my pants here today. So yeah, you'll get to join me for that ride. I got back from Denver on Thursday. Like, my plane landed, I was supposed to land around midnight to Minneapolis time, but I actually landed about 1 a.m. Minneapolis time on Friday. So Friday morning, Thursday night. I don't count it as the next day until I've gone to bed and fallen asleep and woken up. So technically it was Friday, but it was Thursday. So anyway, landed at 1 a.m, caught a lift home from the airport, had to get my baggage, all of that. So I ended up getting home about 1:30, 1:40. And I had this big plan because I had 2 papers left to write to end my last semester. One for my textual analysis class and another one for my Shakespeare class. So I thought, I'll just write them Friday and Saturday. They're due Monday, tomorrow. And instead, I procrastinated all day Friday and Saturday. Okay, Friday I did have group therapy, but other than that, I procrastinated and did not write. And so now today, I am writing like the wind. And I just finished the first paper, a 6 to 7 page paper for textual analysis. And now I have to begin a 10-page paper for my Shakespeare class, but I think that one will be easier to write. We'll see. So that happened. I'm home. What else on the update news front? Happy Mother's Day? I think Mother's Day is weird, and this is why. Moment of honesty here, of unscripted honesty, because I didn't take notes. So my partner and I, we struggled with infertility for years and years and years, like over a decade, and we ended up in building a family through adoption, which wasn't something we planned. That's a whole nother long story, but all of it to say that I get that Mother's Day, because of infertility, can be ridiculously painful for some people. So, and it's a really gendered holiday and all the things. So all of it to say this: if you desperately want to be a parent and today is a really hard day for you, I see you and you're not forgotten, is what I want to say. So, Matthew and our youngest brought me up a breakfast in bed and they were like, yay, breakfast in bed. And I was like, thanks, inhale all the food. And now I have to write papers furiously. Oh, and they also got me one gift, which was, I'm like, I didn't want gifts or expect gifts, and if it was, have it be yarn. But they got me this. Hold on, I have to reach over and grab it. And it's actually really funny. Mother of Chaos nameplate. So yeah, I'm gonna put this up somewhere prominent in my room. It was an awesome Mother's Day gift. So yeah. Okay. So yeah, Shepherd's Harvest, which is a sheep and wool festival here in the Twin Cities, is happening this weekend, but I'm not going because I needed to kind of recoup after the trip and write papers. And as you're about to see, I bought a lot of yarn while I was gone, and yarn showed up at my house while I was gone. So let's start with FOs. Let's start with FOs. So I can't show it. Well, I can show it, but I'm going to have to pick you up. The camera, not you physically watching. I'm gonna have to pick my phone up and turn the camera around, which is gonna be a little bit weird to show you because it's not dried yet from blocking. But while I was gone in Denver, I can't figure out how to flip the camera, so I'm just gonna turn it like this. Look, that is the Malin pullover by Isabel Kramer, knit in Cascade 220 Superwash. That is the size extra small, which I knit for my youngest, who is tiny. And yeah, I knit that. I finished it. So like, did I write a paper? No. Did I finish my Mother's Day socks? No. Did I knit an entire sweater? Yes, I did. I don't know what's up with the Mother's Day socks. I think I ripped them out and started them so many times with all the things that they became frustrating. So once I finish this second paper, it's plowing through the Mother's Day socks because I'm going to see my mom on Wednesday and I should probably have those done. So yeah, so which I guess leads us naturally to whips or what I'm wearing. Let's do what I'm wearing first because I'm warm and I want to take this off. This is the Herbivore Shawlette, I believe. And I believe Stephen West designed it. This is years old. I don't even know what it's knit in. I think Malabrigo sock, but I'm not sure. I went through a Malabrigo phase. It's in, I'm sure it is on my Ravelry page. And if it is, and I can put a link somewhere in here easily and I feel like it, I will. If not, look up Farrah Knits on Ravelry, go to my notebook, and I promise you it is there. So this is the Herbivore. I love this. I wear it a lot. Like I've worn it for years and it's still holding up great. And you'll notice it's held together. I know we're not talking about purchases yet, but while I was in Denver, I got one of those wrist ruler things. And here's the cool thing. I've been looking for one with gold hardware because I prefer gold to silver. And I found one that's black with gold hardware. So I've been using it to attach shawls. So now I can take the shawl off because I'm warm. So you've seen that. Okay, whips. Let's talk about those. A couple things have happened on that front. So I finished the Malin sweater, and knowing that I still had to do the Mother's Day sock, I was like, you know what I should do? Cast on another garment. So I did. I cast this on yesterday, and it looks weird, but that's just because, yeah. Here, let me find it. So it's 2 strands held together of Holst Garn Coastal in the lead colorway. And it's called the Shaker Egg Top. It's in the Mason-Dixon Knitting Transparency issue. And so what you'll see is, you can't really tell, but it's kind of striped, where you do a single stripe of single strand and then a stripe of it held together, double strand. And I just needed a summer top, so that's why I started doing this next. I'm like, ooh, I want a summer top to wear. So this could be done by next week. We'll see. I also have socks to do. So yeah, this is one whip. Here's the yarn, what it looks like, just in case you want to see that. I'm really liking it so far. You did cast on 220 stitches, which was a lot, but I did the whole technique where you wrap the yarn 10 times and then measure it, and I did that and it totally worked. I had like this much tail left after casting on. But when I was figuring that out, because holding 2 strands together and doing that, and this yarn is kind of sticky, so it sticks to itself and the 2 strands a lot, but when I was figuring out how to do that, I got on the YouTubes and I'm like, estimating your tail for a long tail cast on. And I found this video from Coco Knits. I'm gonna put a link in the show notes, which is in the box below here, because holy crap, where has this been my whole life? It's completely gonna change my cast on world. And what they tell you to do is you take, when you're doing the long tail cast on, you take the yarn from the center, when you're just using like 1 strand, basically, the yarn from the center, the yarn from the outside of the ball, tie them in a slip knot, put them over, and use the 2 of those to cast on. And then you don't need to make a tail. Isn't that amazing? And then you cast on 1 extra stitch, I'm talking fast, more than you need, because you undo the slip knot and just let it fall. And I'm going to put the link. Go watch the video. It's completely incredible. Although for all I know, you all completely know about this method already and have been using it and are like, duh, Farah, because I don't know, I'm just thinking about big cast-ons where you just have a single strand. Like, yeah, I have some works in progress coming up that I'm going to tell you about that I'm going to cast on next, and you have to cast on a large number of stitches using only a single strand, and I am totally going to use that method so I don't have to measure out how much of a tail I'm going to need. So that makes me happy. Okay. Oh crap, I forgot my Mother's Day socks. Okay, I'm gonna grab them. Stay here. It'll just take a minute. I'm in like one room, that's it. Okay, I found them. Okay, so these are my Mother's Day socks. I'm still on sock 1. I'm not that much further, but a little bit further. Making progress. I will finish these, I swear, by Wednesday, or I hope by Wednesday, when I see my mom. So yes, and I do like them, and I do like how they're turning out. I just got totally sucked into that sweater. I'm like, can't stop knitting garments. I have no idea what the thing is, but yeah. Okay, I was going to tell you one other thing, but it's an acquisition thing. More whips, more socks for my youngest's box o' college socks. I'm still where I was before. I have one done, but it needs a heel. I have one partway done. I have another one that's partway done, and hopefully I can tear through some socks. Look at this. This is just like in the basket, a ginormous mess that needs to be sorted. And it will. Oh, here's the other one. So I got another Patton's Croy that's striping, that's in this colorway, and I really like it. So that's what the other socks are going to be. And I have, you know, the one pair done, the sweater done. I'm not sure what else I'm going to put for them in that box. I was thinking maybe a hat, maybe fingerless gloves. I don't know. There's lots of options. We'll see what I get done. They move into the dorm. We found out September 1st and 2nd are dorm move-in dates. So I have until then to knit the socks and figure out what else is going to go in it. So that is, yeah, I think that's it for whips. Oh no, there is one more thing. Okay. Remember how I was knitting the Coziest Memories blanket with all the little mitered squares, and how I've only had 2.5 done for the past 3 weeks, and how I haven't picked it up and knit any more on it ever? When I was in Denver, I was thinking about it, and I was just like, you know what? F that. Like, knitting a blanket out of sock yarn is going to take so friggin' long. It's just going to take so long. And you know what's really effective in making blankets? Crochet. And you know what I love? Granny squares. So I came home, ripped out what I'd started, and started this. And I'll tell you how I'm making it fun. So this is just a granny square, and I'm just going to keep going and making it big around and around. And these are old yarn scraps, sock scraps that I had less than 100 yards of. If I have more than that, I save it, or about that, I save it to use for like a heel or a toe or a cuff or like a weird stripe in a sweater that needs like 150 yards. I'll use that. But if it's less than that, I'm putting it in this, and then I'm just going to keep adding to it, and eventually it will be big. So I have already used, let's see, up 1, 2, 3, 4 yarns completely in this, and I'm working on my 5th. My 5th is this red stripe, and it's been fun going through it and remembering what I did the yarns for. Like, the center was a purple stripe in my youngest rainbow hat that I knit for them. This bluish whatever was a Lorna's Laces, and I used it to knit monkey socks, I think, out of. Socks for a gift for somebody who I knew. The next one I used to make a little colonnade shawl for somebody as a gift. Then this was for the tassels in Amsterdam shawl that I just used. And this red is more Lorna's laces that I got gifted years ago, and I used it to make socks, which I gave to my youngest like a few months ago. I finally used it. So it's just fun to remember what I used all the yarns for, which I guess is the point of the coziest memories, or a memories scrap blanket. So I'm working on that now, and crochet goes so much more quickly. And like for garments, I prefer knitting, but for blankets, crocheting, it goes so fast. It's such a great way to use up scraps. And it's I'm finding crochet to be, I find knitting to be really zony and meditative, but also crochet, granny squares, just going over and over. So that's been another whip. So I showed my coziest memories blanket as frogged on Ravelry, and then I added this in as a giant granny square afghan and took a picture, and I'll keep adding to it. So that's that. Okay. Mental health moment. I don't really have anything planned because paper writing, but I think I wanted something I'm pondering and chewing on. And I would really love people's opinions in how to approach this in the knitting community, because this is about, the Knitting My Shit Together podcast. I forgot to say this in the headline. It is where like neurodivergence and yarn collide, like where they intersect. And as I watch podcasts, like there are more, and there's tons of people who are neuroatypical within the yarn community and fiber arts community. And I think there's a reason for that, because these are really calming meditative activities. And so one thing I'm thinking about is language people use, because I feel like, and there's a couple examples I have in particular. So one example I can give without pointing out anyone specifically, which is I was once in a yarn shop recently, and somebody said, "Oh, when I think about knitting that, I just want to kill myself." And I wanted to be like, I didn't say anything. I just made note of it. And I'm just trying to make note of the language we use and what's become normalized and acceptable culturally and what has not. And I feel like there's a deviation. Like I feel like if you have anxiety or struggle with depression in a livable way, or to a certain extent, like that is socially acceptable. Or like OCD or ADHD, like that's socially acceptable. But if you have different types of neurodivergence, like let's say you struggle with psychosis, or let's say you've had to be hospitalized, like that is less acceptable. That's like a level of mental illness that is not as socially acceptable, and I think is more stigmatized. And so to that end, there's really specific language I've noticed in the fiber arts community that I've wanted to talk about, but I don't know what to do, like how to approach it. And it's with certain vendors, and I've thought about just privately writing them a letter and saying, "Hey, can we talk about this? I don't know. What do you all think we should do? Or do I just talk about it here on the podcast?" I don't think 6 people watch this, so I don't know. I just think it's interesting, and I think we need to work on destigmatizing those upper levels of mental health struggle. Upper levels. It's not hierarchical, but what I mean is the kind upper levels, I mean like the kind that I have noticed more stigma around. We need to work towards destigmatizing because it saves people's lives. Like people who struggle with psychosis should not have to hide that. And people who've had to be hospitalized should not feel like they have to hide that, because it has saved people's lives. Saved mine. So, yeah, I don't know. I would love feedback on what you think, how you think that should be handled, or, I have noticed something. I don't know. I feel like I'm going to say something. I don't know how I'm going to say something or the best approach, because I want to do that. Because I don't think this person and people even realize it or have thought about it. I don't know. I don't know if they have or not. But yeah. Okay. But I just know that the kind of language that has been used could make some people feel not included. Or like this isn't a safe space to talk about the knitting community in general, isn't a safe space to talk about certain types of mental illness or certain degrees of mental illness. I don't know. So tell me what you think. I want your opinions. Seriously, give me feedback. Like, write a comment in the comment box, message me on Ravelry, do whatever. I'm thinking about it. And I think I just wanted to wait, like once I'm done writing massive papers tomorrow, I will tackle that. I just wanted space to think about it and decide for myself what I wanted to do, but I'm open to opinions and feedback as well. Yeah. That's kind of it for the mental health moment this week. It's nothing huge, but I've been thinking about that too. Like, what do I want this to be? Like, do I have to have a big giant whole pre-programmed mental health moment thing, or do we just talk about it? Like, what format would you all find most interesting on this topic? Like, should I interview makers who identify as having struggled with mental health and talk about that? Like, would that be interesting to you all? What would it be? Let me know. But I am having fun doing this. I mean, I've done 4 episodes in a row and I look forward to it because I feel like it keeps me motivated to keep knitting and it makes me feel part of the community. And I'm really enjoying it and having fun. And I like that I'm not putting huge stress on myself and being like, oh, it has to be perfect. It would be so easy to compare, like as I watch other podcasts. Oh, which I watched the Fat Squirrel Speaks podcast for the first time the other night. It is so hysterical. I love it. She totally cracks me up and I subscribe to it. But like it would be so easy to compare and be like, oh, they have this, mine isn't nearly as refined, but I'm just not even doing that because I know going that way leads to me not doing it at all because then I start getting perfectionist and dumb. So I'm just doing this, just being me for me. And it helps me stay up with my knitting and feel connected, like I said. So yeah, and talk about things that are important to me. Okay. So we are going to get on to acquisitions, also known as my pre and post Denver yarn haul and other things. So if you're not into that kind of thing, I've heard and seen on other podcasts that people aren't into watching that. Completely legit, but then you might want to stop watching here because that's what I'm going to be doing for the next chunk of time. Yeah, and I'm going to do it because I think it's fun to share and I don't feel guilt about it. I feel like sometimes I've seen knitters like making excuses for what they get or how much, and I don't feel a need to justify that to anybody. If I did feel a need to justify it to anybody, then I would say I should search within myself about how I feel about what I'm doing. And I don't. So I'm going to talk about what I got and what for. Okay, we're going to start with Denver. I don't even know where to start and where to end because there's so much goodness. Okay, so why I titled this episode Extra Baggage is because I got so much yarn in Denver that I couldn't fit it in my suitcase. So I went to Target and randomly bought an extra bag so I could bring an extra carry-on the airplane home. That happened. So I've told you I buy yarn for projects, and last episode, episode 3, when I was in Denver, I'd gone to Colorful Yarns and I'd gotten the Hue Loco for the minaret crop that I'm knitting for my oldest child, which I believe is in here, or it might be in my yarn bin. No, it's in here. And in case you missed that or didn't see episode 3, or if you just want to see the Hue Loco again, because it's so awesome, you can see that. I really like it. This is going to get cast on definitely by the end of summer, but I don't feel as huge of a rush to complete this one. Oh, I slammed something down on the bed and it rocked. Because my daughter lives in Denver. It's warm there. Like, she doesn't need sweaters like we do here in Minnesota. Or what I mean is she can wear a short sleeved sweater in Denver a huge percentage of the winter. So this will get done. So that was from Colorful Yarns. So then I went to Fancy Tiger one day. And really funny story, I have to tell this story because it cracks me up. So in Denver, if you don't live in a major metropolitan area, you might not know this, but there are now these companies putting e-scooters around that you can rent through an app on your phone, and it's like 15 cents a minute to get around. And I didn't feel like taking the bus to Fancy Tiger because it wasn't that far and I would have had to buy a whole pass. But one of the companies doing scooters is Lyft, and it turns out the scooter location service is the same place in the Lyft app as the car service. It's just in the same app. And since I already had the Lyft app, because when I do need to use a car in the cities, like from the airport, I'll use that sometimes if I can't take the bus or train because it's 1 a.m. So I'm like, I'm gonna try taking one of the scooters to Fancy Tiger because I haven't used them yet. So in Minneapolis, because when the scooters came in, it was a big to-do because people were like, the companies just plopped the scooters around without talking to the city, I guess, and it ruffled feathers in the city, which I get. But the city then quickly made up rules, and the city of Minneapolis, the rules here are, if you rent a scooter, you have to ride it in a bike lane or on the right-hand side of car traffic, like not on the sidewalk. Sidewalks are for pedestrians. So you go in the bike lane or the far right-hand lane with traffic. So that's what people here do. And it makes sense because you're not visible on a sidewalk to cars, and sidewalks are for pedestrians, in my opinion. And these scooters can go like 10 miles an hour. So yeah, so I'm like, okay, I leave my daughter's apartment, pull up the app, boom, there's a scooter like less than a block away. So I grab it, sign up. So I get on the scooter and I'm going, and I'm following the same rules as you would in Minneapolis. Like, I'm on the street, but following traffic laws. So like when I had to make a left-hand turn from a one-way, I got in the left-hand lane, but the right-hand side of it. And then I made my left-hand turn. And then I was going down Broadway, which is admittedly kind of a big street in Denver. And the cement truck comes up behind me, and I'm in the far right lane of like a 3 or 4 lane street. Hi, Hamilton. I'm in the far right lane all the way to the side. And this cement truck comes up and the guy's like honking at me. And here's the deal. In Minneapolis, as a bike commuter, I'm used to occasionally having jerks honk at me, even though I'm following all the bike laws. And you just learn to ignore them, because if you give them attention, I've just ended up in screaming matches with people before, and it's just not effective or useful. So he started honking and was like slowly going behind me, the cement truck. And I'm like, dude, just go around me. And I thought, well, maybe he has to make a right-hand turn up here at this light, but then he didn't. So then I started feeling all self-righteous and all judgy in my head. Like, I have just as much a right to be here as you do. All of it to say, I pulled off in a couple more blocks, pulled up on to the sidewalk, parked the scooter, went like I was a block away from Fancy Tiger. There's Hamilton. He's come to say hi. And I just thought, out of curiosity, I'm going to make sure the Denver laws are the same as Minneapolis. And they're not. They're completely different in Denver. In Denver, you're supposed to ride on the sidewalk, which is wackadoodle to me, because pedestrians, like, why not bike lanes? So please, too, don't like flare up my whole thing with comments if you're anti-bike commuting or scooters. Like, please, can we not argue about that? Anyway. Yeah, so then I felt like an idiot because I'm like, oh, my bad. That's why he was honking at me. If you can hear clanging, that's my partner doing the dishes, which I love, but maybe not right now. So I'm going to quick yell down. 1 second. Hey, could you calm the noise while I'm recording? Could you put dishes away after I'm done recording? Or I'll put... Oh, okay, thank you. That happened. Okay. So I got to Fancy Tiger. I did not get hit by a cement truck. I did break the law on a scooter. And this is what I got. So I kind of got it in my head. I'm trying to build some wardrobe staples because I would really love to replace store-bought sweaters with hand knits because they will last longer. They're hand knit. I can give the sweaters away that like I already bought. And a lot of them I don't wear because they're just weird fitting and all of that. And a handmade sweater I can make to my colors, my specifications, and it's knitting. So I would like to knit the Throwback Cardigan by Andrea Mowry. And so I got yarn for it at Fancy Tiger. So this is, I don't even know how to say it, which is a problem. Beroira? I'm sure that's not it. Bero? I don't know. Okay, it is Portuguese, and it's this is here. You figure out how to say that. I don't even know how you would say that, but I want to read what it says on the label. It says Boira is made exclusively from the wool of Serra de Estrela, probably sheep, a Portuguese native breed found in the Sierra de Estrela region. It is entirely sourced and manufactured in Portugal. And the Serra da Estrela Breeders Association verifies the origin and quality of the fleece used to produce this yarn. And apparently it's like a women-supported, owned kind of cooperative kind of deal. I don't know. You can look at you can follow them on social media, but that's what the person at Fancy Tiger told me. I don't know if that's focusing there. And I'll maybe put a link to where they are in the description box. But that makes me happy because it's supporting women-owned business, I believe. Okay. So this is going to be my base color, is this yellow. Then I have to pick 3 other colors. Where did that third ball go? I don't know. Or maybe it's only 2 that I need. I thought it was 3. It was 3. So this is going to be my base. Here's my other 3 colors. It's in the same yarn. And this yarn is 100% Portuguese wool is basically what it says. I'm going to do that gray. This is the color Charcoal. And this color is Honeybee. Yay, Honeybee. So I'm going to do this gray. Another color I'm going to do is this bright red. This is a different tag, same yarn. And this is just color 570. It's called Tomato, which look at how pretty that is. And they had a sample of this knit up in Fancy Tiger, and it's definitely a quote unquote rustic wool, but it softens up when you wash it. So I'm not super stressed. And then my last color is this kind of navy blue, and this is called Navy. Go figure. So this is going to be the colors. I really like bright primary colors, and I really like how this works and how I think it's gonna look. So that was my Fancy Tiger purchase, but that wasn't all I got at Fancy Tiger. I also got a Fancy Tiger enamel pin to go with. I want to kind of do a little enamel pin collection when I go to new yarn stores or just randomly. This one's from Stephen B. And then I got this. I have to dig out the right ones. And I put a picture of this on my Instagram while I was there. So I got these little honeycomb stitch markers in gold, because I like gold. I think you can see them there. And then to go with it, it has a little bumblebee progress keeper, which is so cute. So that makes me glad. Okay. So I also got that. It's like a set of 7 or 8 of the stitch markers with the little bumblebee progress keeper. I also got those from Fancy Tiger. Okay. Then on Wednesday, I thought, oh, I'm going to get a whole bunch of paper writing done. I didn't. And I went to check out another yarn store called the Lamb Shop. So the Lamb Shop and Fancy Tiger, totally different vibes. I can appreciate both of them, but they're really different. The Lamb Shop has a coffee shop and bakery attached right next door. They also sell coffee within the store. There's big tables and cozy chairs around the Lamb Shop, and they do open knitting whenever the store is open. So there are people just sitting there hanging out knitting who also bought stuff. And yeah, that was really interesting. So I sat there for a while and knit. And I got yarn because that's what I do sometimes. Well, it's what I wanted to do. So one thing I've been thinking about knitting is The Shift by Andrea Mowry, that cowl. So I picked out these yarns. These top 2 greens are the same, and then these are different. The yardage said I thought I would need 4, so I got 4. Now looking at other people's stuff on Ravelry, I think I might only need 3, but just in case, I have a 4th, and I'll just have extra green if I have to. It's fine. But I think those will be really fun. I looked at the Spin Cycle yarns. Is that what it's called? Spin City, Spin Cycle, the ones that the pattern calls for. And it was just like $30 a skein. And I get it, hand spun beautiful yarn, but I just couldn't now. So yeah, I got this instead. This is from Schopel, and it's the edition 3, made in Germany. Schopel wool, I think is how you say it. I'm taking German in the fall, by the way. And this was the color. It says Bodenprobe. I don't know if that's the name of the actual color because it's in German and I don't know German yet. Not all the way anyway. I could get a beer in Germany or get around a little bit. I could find a bathroom in Germany. This one I think is called Tante Emma. Emma maybe is this one. And the last one is, this is going to be like a really interesting episode of me trying to pronounce German and Portuguese. Gartenage. Do they have soft G's in German? I don't know. So this is going to be my Shift by Andrea Mowry. Sorry for the movement. I keep leaning up against the bed. So I also got that there. And I got, sorry, I'm putting away the other yarn from my throwback. Okay. And I got the wrist ruler in black that I mentioned. I got that at Lamb Shop too. And I sat and knit for a bit and it was a perfectly delightful time. And I would go there again when I go to Denver. It'd be a good place, like if you have time to kill and just want to hang out and sit and knit with your people, that would be a good place to go do it. One of the women who worked there, Whitney, was really super awesome. And another one of the employees, I can't remember her name, was super awesome and helped me with my needles when they weren't really attaching to the cord. And everyone there was very kind. So that was Denver. Then I flew home to Minneapolis. And if you watched my story, you saw what I posted in the middle of the night on Saturday. But basically, there was yarn I had ordered, some of it like a month and a half beforehand, and a bag and a whole bunch of stuff that all came in while I was in Denver, or the day I got back. So it was kind of fun because I came back and I got to open all these things and it was like Christmas, even though it was stuff I'd ordered a while ago. So here's what all of that is. Okay, we'll talk about the first thing, which is I had ordered a choose your own adventure sock kit from stitched together. And I had chose, like, this is their Bowie adventure, and you can choose like one of two things and options. If you go to their website, you can see, and I'll put a link. And so it was total surprise. I didn't know what was going to come, and it comes with a mini and a sock hank, and it's coming undone because I took off the label, and this is what I got, and I really love it. I like how there's some brights in there. Like, this is not a color I don't think I would pick up from a store, but I love it, and I'm glad I got it, and I get a chance to knit with it. So now I just have to figure out what I do with it, but I'm thinking about saving up a lot of this stuff and maybe trying a fade. I don't know. I'm just going to see. They'll speak to me, and they will tell me what they want to be. Then I had mentioned on previous podcasts how I signed up for the Forest Fiber Arts Color of the Month Club. And my May Color of the Month arrived with a mini, and I love it. This is it, if you didn't see it on my Instagram story. This is called Mayflowers, which totally works. And there's this dusty rose-ish with purples mini. This has so many good colors in it and some speckling, and I really like it. And I can't wait to see how it knits up. I want to undo it. I'm going to undo it. Nikki, who owns Forest Fiber Arts, if you're watching this, I'm undoing it. Also, she announced on Instagram she is moving to Texas, and I was like, reading all the comments like, please don't tell me she's gonna not dye yarn, but she's planning on it, so yay. So I put in a hashtag that I would totally pay shipping from Texas. So here it is. So purtiful. I love it. And it has that little mini that goes with it. So those two are in the mail. And then there was a third thing in the mail. Well, 4 actually. So I caved and got the, what's it called? The town bag or something from Fringe Supply, because I just need something big to hold sweaters and garments that I'm knitting, and I love it. And I can put my other bags inside of it, like my Grey Ducks bag and my By the Bay Yarn Company bag. Like, I can put several little projects in this, and I really like it so far. So I got it in black. The next day after I got it, like, olive came out, but I think I would have gotten black anyway. The olive is cute, but I would have gotten the black anyway. Okay, then the other thing that came was I had ordered, and I'd mentioned this, 2 additional sets of size 1 Luca noodles that are connected, or Leica, how everybody says it. I think the correct pronunciation is Luca. Hear me talk Danish too. But, so that's what I'm saying. And until somebody proves me wrong, fine. Because I think of Hygge, which is Hygga and pronounced Hygge. So Lykke, wouldn't that be Luca? Anyone? Okay. So I ordered 2 additional size 1 32-inch needles from Muse Fiber Company in Hastings, Minnesota, where I'm from, because I wanted to support a small business that was local, and instead of ordering them from some random place on the internet, I ordered them from there. The owner, Sarah, was amazing. She was trying to send me a bill, and it, like, my email was being weird and it wasn't showing, so she and I had to call several times, and she was amazing and completely worked with me and was awesome. And yeah, so I ordered the 2 needles from her, which came, but you know what they look like. If not, well, let me grab them just in case. How many times am I going to get up during today's episode, I wonder? Like, get up and go grab stuff that I left because I didn't plan ahead this week because of all the paper writing. So I already took them out of their package and kind of wrapped them up together. But yeah, so that I can kind of be knitting 3 pairs of socks if I want. So I might actually take some of the socks for Isa and put them on these because I like doing magic loops. So now I have 2 more of those. And then while I was on her website, which by the way is Muse 2320 Fiber Co. So it's in Hastings, Minnesota. If you go to muse2320.com, you can see their site. And I really, even though they're not like Minneapolis local to me or St. Paul, I'm going to try and support them and get a few things from them because like my Luca needles and other weird stuff. I'm going to go check it out next week or Wednesday when I go see my mom. I'm going to go check out the store in person because Hastings is this tiny, small town that has never had anything like a yarn store. And I was talking to Sarah, the owner, and I told her, I'm really happy to support your business because I think how different, and I don't know, who knows, maybe it would have been completely the same and I would have thought knitting was lame, but I'm like, how different could my adolescence have been if I had learned to knit? Like, what could that have done for me? How could that have changed things? So I just want to support them so that they thrive in Hastings. And you all should too. Go order stuff from there because they do their own hand-dyed yarn. So along with my order, well, the other thing I ordered from her was these stitch markers and a progress keeper that I saw that I love. So first off, the progress keeper is a moon, which is awesome. And then look at all the stitch markers. So there's all these different geometric shapes. There's a triangle, there's beehive ones, and they're all in like copper and gold and brassy. There's regular circles. There's some of the safety pin ones, one of which I'm using right now on my shaker rag top. There's a triangle. I'm going to keep them all clipped on here. Well, actually, I'm going to unclip them now because I was waiting to keep them all clipped for the episode when I recorded. And now I can use them. And the progress keeper is a big one, which I kind of like. Different size. So yeah, a circle. What else did I not show you? That's kind of it. All these shapes that are really, really lovely. And I love them. So I'm going to use all my new Fancy Pants stitch markers and progress keepers now when I want. So I also got these. I saw the set and I was like, yeah, there's also a feather one that I really want that I might order or might get when I'm in Hastings because that's really cool. So yeah. So along with the needles and the progress keeper and stitch markers, Sarah included a free mini. Isn't this beautiful? And this is what I noticed. Look at how well it goes with my other two minis. Completely unplanned by total accident. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to, but I don't know that these could go together. Maybe they could. I'm like, could I do a fade with these two of some kind and then use the minis in combination? Something to consider. I'm considering all these yarn possibilities. So she put a little note that said, thanks, Sarah. Hope you love your Lucas and enjoy the Finch on me. So this is, here's the little tag. So Muse 2320 Finch. This is 100% superwash merino wool. This is the Lucky Strike colorway. This is a fingering weight yarn. And this is 87 yards, 20 grams. Look at it. And I looked on their website and there's this colorway they have. It's like a green matcha tea and it's gorgeous. And I've been thinking of getting 2 skeins because here's my other knitting plans I have to share. So everybody knows, if you don't, newsflash, spoiler alert, Caitlin Hunter of Boyland Knitworks released a new pattern and everybody's losing their mind on all the things, including me. So they have a deal. I think it goes through today. You still might be able to do it depending on when I get this out, but go check it out. Where if you buy, so it's a new sweater, it's a crop short sleeve sweater tee in their Italy series. And they have a thing where if you buy all 3 sweaters in the Italy series, you get 30% off. So I did. Which leads me to a conundrum. I don't feel an urge like the Novelli is the new one. I don't feel an urge like I have to knit it right away now when everybody else is, but I do feel an urge to, once I finish my shaker rag tee, knit all 3 of the sweaters in that series because they're all fingering weight, short sleeve sweater tees that could be awesome during summer. and fall and like the shoulder seasons. So I had a thought. I have a gray yarn. I should go get it. I didn't bring it. Crumb knuckles. I keep forgetting it. Okay, hold on one more time. So I have 3 skeins of this Madeline Tosh. It's like the Mad Tosh Light kind of thing. It's sock weight twist light that are in gray. Really lovely. I was going to use the 3 of these to knit a long sleeve sweater. But here's what I'm thinking instead. Last night I tossed around the idea of using this as a base for the novelli, but I don't think that's what I'm going to do anymore. Instead, I might use it as the base for the Marietta. That's the first in the 3 Italy series that she did. And then I might get some yarn from Muse 2320 to do the Tanya, because I want to knit that too. And in the matcha, it would look so pretty if they have some left when I get there. If not, I'm sure they'll have other. It's like this tonal green that's the same color as matcha tea. You can go find it on their website. And don't buy it all. I mean, you can if you want. Support them. Buy it all. I'll pick a different one. Yeah, so I think I'm going to knit all 3 Caitlin Hunter sweater tees next. I think that's what I want to do while I'm doing socks and other randomness. So I don't know. These 3, I want to find something interesting to do with. These, I mean, they're sock yarn, but I'm like, I don't have to knit socks with them. They could be a fun fade or something else. I don't know, or not together, something separate. And I have more yarns of the month coming, like every month. So I might just start seeing what I want to do with them. And if nothing comes to me, I'll knit socks. So yeah. I have all this crap now spread out everywhere here, and I need to write another paper, start writing another paper. So yeah. So I'll put links to what I want to put links to in the description box. I don't know that I'll edit this until after paper writing, so it might not go out till tomorrow on Monday, because paper writing really has to get done. We'll see. Maybe during a break I'll edit it, because it doesn't take me super long to edit. So yeah. Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching this episode, and please give me feedback on what you think about those topics I brought up and what you would like to see. And also, if you liked this, subscribe. You should totally subscribe or like. Yeah, thank you for joining me. I love sharing my knitty world with you all. It's really fun, and it's keeping me so motivated. So yeah, I'll see you next week. Bye.